Good morning, everyone. Today is August the 16th. It is a Tuesday, and this is the Moneyball morning. As we're taking a look at things, we had housing starts come in really fairly light and very bifurcated between the north and the south, with the majority of housing starts in the south and still well under the number. Markets have been looking at bad news and completely shaking it off. So this leads me to believe that what we really are in is a squeeze. We can't really help what's happening because everybody sees that it's bad news, and so their psyche says, well, I can't go long in this environment. And then there are a group of folks who really believe that we are through the big hiccup here and things will recover because the market is a forward pricing indicator. By the time things turn around in the economy, the market's well ahead of that. So two different warring groups. I mentioned in that post available to you that it simply is just a dogfight right now. But all we are going to do is look at the numbers. And so we've got a couple of things to stare down. This orange line, oopsie, that's not right. Let me expand this for a quick moment. Let me pause so that we're not wasting time. Okay, here we go. This orange line here is the halfway point upward around last year's range. And so you'll notice that in SPY, we're already there, right? Qs, this is only the 25% spot. So there's there's still weakness floating around in the majority of tech. And so the big guns are still carrying price forward here. So now we have this congestion from a weekly perspective. From the daily perspective, you'll see that it's several days chopping back and forth. My thought is that this line, which is the quarterly, right? This is what happened with the quarterlies. The white one is the quarterly line. We are right into that 75% range, right? We could squish, technical term squish, up a little higher, but this is probably where things are going to start getting a little rickety as it goes. But for the big picture, again, upward, 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 though trading underneath, which means we're going to be looking for support. This is the high of day before yesterday, and this is the high of yesterday. And so that day before yesterday's high easily looks like a support action event for me down at the 427 area. This is our trailing ATR. And it's showing just a wee bit before. Notice the drift of motion. You know, traders are going to let this slog in, and we're going to find time to come back into buy. All right, so watch this edge. 427, this is an outside candlestick. Of course, you know I use the strat. It's the reason I actually build these formations. And so if you haven't really learned the strat, it's a good idea. It simplifies price action to a point that's really quite wonderful, to be honest. Okay, so now the Qs in the same kind of ahead space, but underneath the 4 and then dragging down. This is still a very messy price action event, but pullbacks are still buy zones. Pullbacks are still buy zones. Could we drift a little deeper? Yes, that's what I'm hoping for, to pull off a couple of these pieces. But we should have one more pretty fierce leg up before it exhausts all the sellers. I mean, the very last thing I saw before I started doing my chart research, I went to the option chains and looked at how many short calls and long puts there were. And my goodness, there were a lot. And that's way too many for this price action to actually roll over. It's got to catch people by surprise. It's a little bit of a paradox between follow the leader and, oh my goodness, what's going on? So that being said, be alert. I am looking for things that might revert to the mean simply because we are coming into a space that's going to be very messy, and we have just a ton of slosh sitting in the chart, and this is options expiration week. So we could easily end on a high note that will turn the charts all the way around back to the upside. So I do not see a breakdown here yet, folks. I don't. My philosophy about long-term breakdowns that give us trading formations that we can short primarily is if we lose the 5 on the weekly chart. And we are nowhere near that. We are in very bullish territory. And I'm just looking for small pullbacks that can get us on the right side of a short, or small pullbacks that can help us position into the next long. All right. See you on the Benzinga Pro platform.